The rescue ship descended through Kepler 442b's violet atmosphere, its scanners sweeping the crash site coordinates. Captain Reeves expected to find survivors huddled in emergency shelters, rationing supplies, counting days until salvation arrived. What she found instead made her question whether she'd entered the correct planetary system. That a hand-painted sign hung above a stone building. The Stranded Nebula, Cafe and Sanctuary. Open daily. All species welcome. Walker stood outside the establishment, wiping his hands on an apron that read, "Ask me about our specials." His beard had grown wild during the 6 months since the transport ship Meridian had crashed, but his eyes sparkled with unmistakable contentment. Beside him sat 3 creatures that defied immediate classification. One resembled a 6-legged otter with bioluminescent patches, another looked like a floating jellyfish with crystalline tendrils, and the third was a small raptor-like being covered in iridescent feathers. "Captain Reeves," Walker called out, waving enthusiastically. "Perfect timing. We just pulled fresh pastries from the oven. Do you prefer your coffee with cream or synthesized milk? We've got both now." Captain Reeves descended the landing ramp slowly, her tactical team flanking her with visible confusion. "Engineer Walker, we're here to rescue you and Dr. Athena Kowalski. Where is she? Are you all right?" "I'm fantastic, actually." Walker gestured toward the cafe. "Athena's inside. We've been expecting you." "Well, not expecting, but hoping. Come on in. Bring your crew. First round's on the house." The interior of the cafe was more shocking than the exterior. Smooth stone walls were decorated with local artwork, geometric patterns that seemed to shift in the light. Furniture crafted from the planet's bamboo-like plants filled the space, each piece showing expert craftsmanship. The 6-legged otter creatures, Walker called them splishers, moved between tables carrying trays with remarkable dexterity. Athena emerged from the kitchen, her dark hair tied back, flour dusting her forearms. She'd lost the gaunt, stressed appearance that characterized most long-term survivors. Instead, she radiated the satisfied exhaustion of someone who'd found purpose in unexpected circumstances. "Captain," Athena said, extending a hand. "Welcome to our little experiment in interspecies cooperation. Dr. Kowalski, we need to conduct medical evaluations. 6 months on an uncharted world without proper supplies." "We had supplies," Athena interrupted gently. "And we had something better, adaptability." She gestured to one of the floating jellyfish creatures drifting near the ceiling. "Meet the Glimmers. They're naturally curious and incredibly intelligent. Took us about 2 weeks to establish basic communication through light patterns. Once we understood each other, they showed us which plants were edible, which water sources were safe." Walker approached carrying a tray laden with pastries and steaming mugs. "The splishers, those are the otter guys. They're social creatures, natural cooperators. When they saw us building shelter, they started helping. Turns out they're amazing at problem solving when you give them structured tasks." He set down the tray. "And the raptors, we call them flash wings. They're the farmers of the ecosystem. They cultivate fungal gardens underground. They taught us their techniques." Captain Reeves accepted a mug, more out of politeness than desire. The aroma hit her first. Rich, complex, utterly alien, yet somehow familiar. She took a cautious sip. It tasted like coffee's sophisticated cousin, with notes of caramel and something that reminded her of vanilla lightning. "This is good, right?" Walker grinned. "Local beans. Well, not beans exactly, but close enough. The flashwings showed us where they grow. We've been experimenting with roasting techniques for months." A splisher approached Captain Reeves, chittering softly. It placed a small pastry on her armrest, patted her knee with surprising gentleness, then scampered away. "They do that," Athena explained, settling into a chair across from the captain. "They've adopted us, in a way. When we first crashed, we were terrified. Hostile world, limited resources, no idea if rescue would come. But then we met the locals. You domesticated 3 sentient species in 6 months." Walker laughed. "Domesticated? No. We became friends. There's a difference. We shared our knowledge, basic engineering, cooking techniques, even some mathematics. They shared theirs, ecological harmony, sustainable living, community structure that doesn't rely on hierarchy." Athena leaned forward. "Captain, humanity spent centuries looking for intelligent alien life. We found it, and instead of studying them from a distance or categorizing them for databases, we lived with them. We built something together. The cafe was Walker's idea, Athena continued. After 3 months, when we'd established stable food sources and shelter, he said, "You know what this place needs? A gathering space." The locals loved the concept. They'd never had a dedicated location just for socializing and eating together. A glimmer descended from the ceiling, its crystalline tendrils pulsing with soft light patterns. Captain Reeves's translator implant struggled with the communication, but she caught the essence: gratitude, friendship, a question about whether the newcomers would stay. "We need to return to Earth," Captain Reeves said, though her voice carried less certainty than before. "You've been reported missing. There are protocols." "We understand," Walker said, "but we're not leaving permanently." He exchanged a glance with Athena. "We've already discussed it. We'll go back, file our reports, show humanity what we've learned here. But then we're coming back." "Coming back." Captain Reeves set down her mug. Athena nodded. "This cafe? It's just the beginning. We're establishing the first interspecies cultural exchange program. Earth needs to see that first contact doesn't have to be about conquest or careful scientific observation from behind barriers. It can be about sharing a meal, learning each other's languages, building something together." Walker stood, addressing not just the captain but her entire crew, who'd gradually filtered into the cafe. "Every member of our species who comes here learns something fundamental. We're not alone, and we don't have to be lonely. These beings, these beautiful, intelligent creatures, they welcomed us when we crashed into their world uninvited. They taught us, fed us, adopted us into their community." A flashwing hopped onto the table, chirping melodically. It had brought a small bundle of the local flowers, which it presented to Captain Reeves with what could only be described as ceremony. "They want you to understand you're welcome here too," Athena translated. "All humans are. This cafe isn't just ours. It belongs to everyone who believes different species can coexist, not just peacefully, but joyfully." Captain Reeves looked around the cafe, at the splishers serving drinks with obvious pride, at the glimmers creating light shows for entertained customers, at the flashwings arranging flowers and maintaining the space. She saw her own crew members, hardened soldiers and pilots, laughing as they attempted to communicate with the locals through improvised sign language and light patterns. "This will change everything," she said quietly. Walker smiled. "That's what we're counting on. Humanity's always been good at adaptation, at finding family in unexpected places. We just proved we can do it across species lines." "So yes," Athena added, "rescue arrived after 6 months. But Captain, we weren't really stranded. We were exactly where we needed to be." Captain Reeves took another sip of her drink, watching a splisher teach one of her crew members the proper way to froth the alien milk substitute. Protocols could wait. Reports could wait. Right now, she was sitting in a cafe on an alien world, drinking the best coffee she'd ever tasted, surrounded by proof that humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to make home wherever it landed. "How long until your next batch of pastries is ready?" she asked. Walker checked an improvised timer. 20 minutes. "What?" "Because," Captain Reeves said, removing her captain's insignia and setting it on the table, "I'm off duty for the rest of the day. And I want to learn how you trained a 6-legged otter to make a perfect cappuccino." The cafe filled with laughter, human, chittering, chiming, and chirping, all blending into the universal language of joy at the end.